Hello friends, this is Jen over at Weightless, and I'm so excited you're able to join me. If you're hopping on this live with me, make sure to pop a hello or introduce yourself in the comments. I'd love to know who's joining me live. So this comes up a lot with my clients and people in presentations that I do, and I am actually doing a presentation on the #1 way to break through a weight loss plateau. It will happen this Saturday for a private event. So if you're not invited to this, I didn't want you to miss out, and I also wanted you to benefit from those of you who are struggling with a weight loss plateau and are frustrated and are stuck and not quite sure how to get past it. For one thing, there's always a way to get past it, so do take heart. If the techniques you're trying are not working for you, there is a solution, and I will be sharing that in this quick little Facebook Live. So if you enjoyed this video or other videos, please hit the like, comment, even when you don't join me live, because you can see this video as long as I keep it posted. So please introduce yourselves when you come on into this Facebook Live, where we talk about how to push past a weight loss plateau. So no matter what program you're on, what diet you're utilizing, or how you're moving, you will reach that dreaded plateau, because we're all human and none of us can keep 100% committed to our goals every single day. I wish we could, but unfortunately it's just impossible. And I know some people also go through different stages of life. For example, I lost my father recently. I'm going through some career transitions and things like that. It's a lot of stress. So yes, I have been in my own plateaus before. And when I was losing weight over 15 years ago, it took me over a year to lose 100 pounds. And that may not seem like a long time to you listening, but it felt like forever to me. So I totally sympathize with where you are if you are stuck in a plateau. We've all been there. We all will be there. And if you haven't been there, well, let's use these tips that I share with you today so that you don't experience that. If you hear that whining in the background, that's my dog, Betsy. She wants some attention right now, so please ignore her. Okay, no matter what diet you're choosing today, you'll get stuck. I guarantee it. And here's one of the reasons why, especially if you're focusing on an exercise-based program. So for example, you're like, I want to get fit. I'm going to go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk on the treadmill. I'm going to do the stair climber. I'm going to attend a Zumba class. That's a perfect plan. Unfortunately, that plan is a short-term plan because our bodies tend to get used to our exercise. And we adapt to it. That's the beauty of our bodies and our ability to transform our bodies, because we adapt naturally to any changes in our usual routine. That's why it's important to always take the next step, no matter whether it's your exercise plan, your meal plan, whatever plan you're on, you need to be able and willing to take that next step. So the majority of exercise plans, your body gets fully used to them, depending on how severe or how intense it is, within 6 to 8 weeks. So what you start off with will definitely not be the program that you will be ending with. And that's what I learned when I was going through my own process, is what worked for me when I was 280 pounds was not what worked for me when I was 160 pounds. And you'll find the same is true for you as well. So we talked about exercise. For one thing, our bodies do get used to the exercises we're doing. That's the beauty of our ability to adapt and to deal with the changes that our bodies are experiencing. Another reason you might be going through a plateau, especially in terms of exercise, is if you're, for example, if you've been running your whole life and all of a sudden you're not able to run anymore, or maybe you have an injury, maybe you're older, maybe you have back problems and you're just like, this is not working out for me anymore. And if you switch down to a lower intensity exercise, you will still get the benefits of exercise, but you may stall in your weight loss success and your progress. Because when you go from a high intensity activity such as jogging to a lower intensity activity, your body reacts differently to that. Again, there are benefits to low intensity activity, but it is not ideal when it comes to losing weight. So if you're not burning the same amount of calories, you might need to shift the type of exercise you're doing. So you could do aerobic exercise, which is the exercise that has you huffing and puffing and sweating like crazy and that sort of thing. to something that's maybe more weight bearing, for example, resistance training, lifting weights, that sort of thing. It still burns calories, but it's not an aerobic activity unless you're doing it for reps and endurance as opposed to strength. That's the top thing that I recommend in terms of exercise to up level your current exercise routine. So even if you have stayed consistent with your 3 to 4 times to hit the gym, you're doing great with it. 8 weeks have passed and you're stalling. You're not seeing the progress you want. I would highly encourage you to lift something heavy. So you could replace one of your cardio routines with lifting, or you could replace 2 of them. You can replace your entire program with lifting. There's a certain technique to get the most out of that. So hit me up in the comments if you want to learn more about how you can maximize that for your own plan. Now, let's talk about eating. Even if you've been a complete and utter angel and have eaten everything that you promised you would eat, all of your salads are packed in your fridge and ready to go, you have spent all day Sunday for weeks and weeks and weeks getting those healthy meals prepared, you know, everything is right and you're eating it and you're staying consistent with it, your body does adjust to how you eat and your calorie requirements change, especially if you have been losing consistently. The lighter you are, the fewer calories you need to function at a minimum. So your body won't be burning those calories as you're decreasing weight unless you fuel it in a different way, exercise in a different way. It all comes down to how can you take it to the next level. The next level for eating is different for everyone. So if you're someone who, for example, if you're someone who's a calorie counter, the next level isn't to just cut out 200 more calories, because that is very hard to do and you'll feel like you're starving and depriving yourself and you may end up binging later on. The next level for you might be to change the quality of your calorie. So for example, if you're someone who tends to eat those 100-calorie snack packs as one of your afternoon snacks, maybe replace that with something like a handful of nuts or something that has more protein, less carbohydrates. The quality of your calories is changing. The composition of the nutrients you're getting is changing. That's how you up-level your food and your eating. Other things you can do is you can eat more frequently. This is one that worked very well for me. When I first started losing weight, I stuck to 3 meals a day. And when I reached a plateau and I wasn't going anywhere, I'm like, what can I do? What I found was when I waited too long between meals, I was tending to choose high-calorie foods when I was eating. So when I increased the amount of times I ate, I changed from 3 meals a day to 5 meals a day. It made a huge difference in terms of how my body reacted to it, the types of choices I was making when I did eat. And because I was never hungry, I was constantly eating. I mean, it felt like, oh, I got to eat again. You know, it's kind of a good feeling and kind of a bad feeling, but I never felt gorged when I was eating because instead I was focusing on, well, I don't need that extra helping of this. I've already got a pre-planned meal in front of me, but I don't need to have an extra helping of it because I know I'm going to eat again in 3 hours. So sometimes changing the frequency of your meals can assist you. And when you're thinking about 5 to 6 times of eating in a day, your meals are not your 5-course kind of meal. A meal could be something that you would consider like a snack with benefits today. It could be 300 calories, 400 calories. I don't generally recommend a calorie-driven diet. However, it could be a smaller portion of what you're used to seeing. So for example, a half a plate of your pasta, as long as it has protein and it has fat, healthy fat in it, it's a smaller size than what you're used to do. So you could eat more frequently, but in the end of the day, you do end up eating fewer calories and fewer servings just because you're eating so frequently. Another way to shake up your food is to explore different ways of preparing your food. One thing that works really well for this is if you're like, well, I don't want to cook anymore. I don't want to, I want to repurpose. I want to find better ways of doing what I'm already doing. There are plenty of ways you can do this to make your food go further as well. So suppose you tend to have a steak salad for lunch every day. Can you use that steak for something else? Can you put it in a wrap? Can you include some beans in there for some additional fiber and additional protein? Can you load it up with a bunch of veggies? Can you add an extra splash of salad dressing on there? I mean, there are all sorts of options you can do in terms of changing up the balance of nutrients you have on your plate. In general, I ask clients to do a good ratio of carbs to protein to fat, and that's about 40, 30, 30. It depends. Everyone's needs are a little bit different, but that's the kind of ratio I say. So when you look at your plate, a little less than 40% of that would be carbs in the form of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, that's healthy carbs. And 30% of that would be a protein source, chicken, dairy, meat, any of that sort of thing. And then the other 30% would be fat. So if you had to err on the side of caution with any of those three macronutrients, it would be fat and protein. The biggest experience people have when it comes to maintaining weight loss is not going low carb, but being more carb conscious. So if you replace your carb loaded snacks with a protein and fat based snack, you fill up quicker. You eat a smaller size naturally, just because it's filling you up quicker. And the types of nutrients you're getting from them are different than you would get from a piece of fruit, for example. And I'm not saying fruit is bad, but changing up the profile of what your body is getting and when it's getting it can help as well. If you find yourself getting up in the middle of the night because you're hungry, maybe you should incorporate a small protein snack before bedtime. There are plenty of ways you can change up how you eat today to make it help you break through that weight loss plateau. So let's review quickly. If you do see me on this live video, even if you're watching it later, please pop a comment in there. Let me know what your questions are and what your next topic would like to be. I'd love to help you. But what we talked about today is pushing through a weight loss plateau by doing something different. Our bodies adjust to not just our eating habits, but also our exercise habits after approximately 6 to 8 weeks. So if you've been doing the same thing for a couple of months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, maybe it's time to switch it up. And the way you can do that is increasing your weight bearing and resistance training to get the most out of your exercise, decrease your cardio. Another thing you can do is to switch up the type of exercise you're doing. So if you recently shifted from a high intensity to low intensity, do more varied workouts, do longer endurance, more minutes, that sort of thing, and that will help you push past that plateau. In terms of eating, make sure you eat more frequently. That helps people very much, your body adjust to a new eating schedule. You eat fewer sweets and things like that because you're never hungry. And then changing the balance of macronutrients that you have on your plate. Those are my top recommended ways to push past a weight loss plateau. This is Jen over at Weightless. Thank you for watching me. Make sure to pop your questions or your comments underneath this video, and I'd be happy to share additional tips and tricks with you. Or if you'd like to schedule a weight loss breakthrough session where I sit down with you privately, we can talk about more specific steps that make sense for you based on where you are today. Thank you for joining me. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.